An off-duty Border Patrol officer was shot in the face last night by an illegal alien in New York City in what is being called a failed robbery attempt. Surveillance video shows two men riding in on a moped before one of them ambushes the victim, tossing him to the side and firing off a shot. The officer was taken to the hospital and is expected to recover. But the suspected shooter is a 21-year-old Dominican national who entered the country illegally in 2023. He was released under the Biden administration, and he has been on a crime spree ever since.
This 21-year-old male has prior arrests for assault and violating an order of protection. At the time of this shooting, he had an active bench warrant from the Bronx, was wanted for a robbery from last December and a stabbing from January. A robbery from last December and a stabbing in January.
President Trump weighed in on the attack earlier today, blaming Biden's lawless border policy for the shooting. Joining us now is acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. Director Lyons, thanks for being with us. How do you respond to this rap sheet of this violent illegal alien?
Hey, well, first, thanks for having me. First off, I'm very happy that the officer is going to be okay. We prayed for him and his family. And I'm happy that he was able to return fire and take that individual down. You know, that just shows right there that there was a broken border policy. Now that we have an individual that came into the country illegally, was released on his own recognizance, and then just went on a crime spree. And if you look at all the times he's been arrested and released without any notification to ICE, and not only that, but what the mayor also failed to mention was the fact that he also has an active warrant in Massachusetts for armed kidnapping. And so that just shows that his crime spree went all over the Northeast untouched.
Yeah, Director Lyons, great to see you. And all those places, of course, have the same kind of sanctuary policies where these criminals commit crimes and they don't turn them over to the federal government, so they keep committing those crimes. But there's been a lot of success over the past 6 months since Trump took office. Border encounters have plunged to 93%. Over 10,000 abandoned migrant children have been located. Migration through Panama's Darien Gap is down 99%, and more than 300,000 illegals have been arrested. 70% of them who had criminal charges or convictions. But this success has come at a pretty steep price. There's been an 830% increase in assaults on ICE agents compared to the same time last year. And this comes as federal authorities arrest a man in Ohio for allegedly making terroristic threats to kidnap, assault, and murder a U.S. official. Meanwhile, Democrats are demanding ICE agents expose their identities by removing their masks.
We have a Los Angeles Police Department that has to deal with crime in this city every single day. And they're not masked. The masked men parachute in, stay here for a while, and leave. And so you enter a profession like policing, like law enforcement? I'm sorry, I don't think you have a right to have a mask and snatch people off the street.
Director, is the mayor of Los Angeles trying to dox your agents?
100%. There are so many elected officials that have gone ahead and tried and called for the open doxing of agents, saying that ICE agents and officers and their families shouldn't have any rest, shouldn't have any peace, that if we're disrupting illegal aliens' families, then ours should be. That's just totally unacceptable. And it's, unconscionable, the fact that they would want to put a federal law enforcement officer or special agent in harm's way, or their family. What the mayor said is totally wrong. The best part about that is she says we parachute in and then go away. No, we're going to stay in Los Angeles until we take care of the criminal aliens that are affecting her community that she's blatantly ignoring while she's focused on the brave men and women of ICE just trying to do their job.
Director Lyons, thank you, of course, for your service to our country. The Trump administration, as you know, is offering a major incentive to actually increase recruitment. This is by way of the New York Post. Former ICE agents can receive up to $50,000 in bonuses if, of course, they rejoin the agency as either a deportation officer or as a criminal investigator. An email from ICE obtained by the Post states in part, you serve the United States of America with distinction and honor. Now your country calls upon you to serve once more. Your experience and unwavering commitment are critically needed. It has been difficult, to say the least, to convince people to join the agency because of all the attacks you heard Katie talking about. But I'm curious, how do you think this new effort will work out?
Thanks, Kevin, for bringing that up, because I think it's going to work great. I think one thing we saw in the last administration, in the last 4 years, was a lot of brave men and women retired or left the agency early just because they weren't feeling like federal law enforcement officers. They didn't have a secretary that had their back. They didn't have an administration that wanted them or allowed them to do their duly sworn federal duty. So we want to go ahead and we want to make sure that those former special agents and deportation officers know that we value them, we value their experience, and we want them back in our ranks. The last 4 years, ICE has been shrunk so much to make us battlefield ineffective and not do our law enforcement mission. We hope to bring back these brave men and women that we can go ahead and we can make America safe again.
Director Lyons, it's Nicole Sapphire. The Department of Homeland Security has announced that they are planning to house thousands of illegal aliens on 2 military bases in Indiana and, where I live, New Jersey. This comes as Democrats have been blasting the administration for militarizing immigration enforcement.
Will not be intimidated by the militarized force that Donald Trump has put before us.
To me, this is another example of the administration ratcheting up chaos by deploying what looked like a military operation in an American city.
Director Lyons, what's your response to the Democrats and all of their rhetoric, and what additional information can you give us about those military bases where they may be housed?
Well, first off, the rhetoric is just completely wrong. I just can't believe that elected officials would make such unintelligent and uneducated comments and not learn exactly what the men and women of ICE do every day. As far as the military bases, President Trump, he sees that under the last administration, we did not have the support. We didn't have the support under President Obama. We didn't have the support under President Biden. We want to go ahead and use our whole of government approach to use these military bases. And it's not a case of militarizing ICE. We now have a secure location with our partners in DOD that we can actually house these illegal migrants safely and transport them out of the country safely without like those riots that you saw in California with the rock throwing, the protesters, things like that. It's this whole of government approach that's going to make ICE do their mission better.
Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on a Sunday.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, we had a lot of tough questions for him. Kevin, you asked him about recruitment.
Yeah.
He seems positive in the face of all these threats. Do you think the recruitment's going to work?
Couple things. I think, yes, it will ultimately work. I mean, we've seen that with the military recruitment. The numbers are way up. I think there's a renewed sense of patriotism. And I think the real big reason that he'll probably work out, aside from the cash, let's be honest, 50 grand's a lot of money, but also the idea of being able to do your job. You're not handcuffed. And I think that was a big reason that a lot of the people who worked along the border really wanted to do what's right for this country, said, you know what, if I can't do my job because you're basically keeping me from doing my job and I'm basically a babysitter, they're like, yeah, I will head out. But now maybe they'll come back.
Yeah. Doctor, you hit him with the Democrat thing. He didn't really, he didn't come out as swinging partisan. He was very diplomatic.
That's okay. That's what you're supposed to be. But listen, you're not going to have increased recruitment unless you're protecting these ICE officers. We've already seen, violent attacks on them. They're being called racist by our political leaders. I mean, do you call gynecologists sexist because their patients are females? No. ICE are not racist. What they're doing are to bring illegal immigrants and find them, and especially those with criminal activity. 2019 study shows when you increase internal immigration, you have a decrease in crime, decreased drug-related offenses, decreased gang activity. There's a reason we do this.
Yeah. Well, Katie, you mentioned that, ICE can do everything that they're, that is under their purview. But what happens when you have people like in Massachusetts that don't obey the law?
Democrats have created this problem. And as usual, they are outraged when there are consequences for what they have done. For decades, they have implemented these sanctuary city policies that allow criminals to continue to victimize innocent people, whether it's in Massachusetts, New York, Los Angeles, as a result of these policies, and not working with the federal government and just turning them over. They know when they get arrested and they're in the system that they're not here legally, and yet they keep doing this. And the second thing is that the Biden administration created this problem. They let in 20 million people. They sent them bus tickets, courtesy of the taxpayer, flights, cell phones to go wherever they wanted with a criminal record. And now you're seeing the Trump administration through ICE cleaning it up. So Democrats always do these things. They create this huge problem, and then they scream and cry when there are actual real-world consequences for it. And they're making American cities safer, and they should, because that's what taxpayers are paying for.
There it is.
And we need to protect the ICE officials who are putting their lives and their families' safety on the line as well.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.